when it comes to managing arm injuries and lower body injuries, we see a fair number of back injuries too with athletes who are participating in baseball, particularly at the youth, the high school, and even at the collegiate level. I think prevention and education are probably the most important steps that we can take, most important information that we can provide our athletes, our parents, and our coaches. And so, we like to use routines. We use routines with all of our athletes, and whether they're in rehab or they're in a sports performance setting. And so, just as an overview, we like to make sure that there's a good general warm-up. We like to raise core temp and get our athletes to sweat a little bit. We do that using an activation series, whether it's mini bands or it's a physio ball or it's furniture sliders or it's some body weight activities, but they're all geared towards stimulating muscle activity in some of our proximal musculature, to things that help stabilize our shoulders and our hips. And then we progress to a dynamic stretching and mobility routine, which is also critical to optimizing performance and preventing injury. And then from there, we get into a movement-based pattern where we're doing more of a dynamic stretch. And from there, we move into more of a speed progression and a nervous system activation called neural charging or neural activation. And at that point, then we can start to think about whether it's strength training or a progressive throwing program, a long toss program, or even anything that we're going to do off of a mound. But as you can see through my description, we're not just picking up a ball and playing catch, and we're not just picking up a ball and stepping on the hill. Everything we do has a purpose, and everything we do is progressive. And I think it's really important that that's not just something that the athlete understands. That's something that the coach understands and lives by. And more importantly, for our younger players, that's important for the parents to understand, so that they're not just dropping their kids off and assuming that this is being done. They need to understand that this has to be done in order to ensure the optimal performance, but also the safe performance. And then, probably one of the more important pieces of what we do is we look at biomechanics of throwing, because a lot of these kids don't have the physical maturity or the neuromuscular maturity to be able to reproduce optimal biomechanics. And so having a really solid understanding of biomechanics, and I'm not asking parents to become pitching coaches, and obviously we would rather they not, but that the athletes have a really good rapport with their coaching staff and their strength and conditioning staff if they're lucky enough to have one, or their athletic trainer if they're lucky enough to have one. But there needs to be somebody on the staff who understands the optimal mechanics, and how repeatability is one of our best defenses against injury. And if we put that together with a really well planned out pre-practice and pre-game warm-up and arm care program, I think that we have a better opportunity to prevent these injuries and limit our athletes' exposure to these injuries.